All right, last day of background work on the slide. So all I have left is the background work on the inside of these scrolls here. And then with the exception of the panel back here that I'm going to do is one shot, all the background work is done on the slide. Now I should be able to start doing the final shading on the slide tomorrow. I tell you what, there isn't a whole lot that I struggle with more than staying focused to do background work. It's just so tedious. So anyway, it's Thursday. About 12:30 in the afternoon. It was too cold to get out here this morning, so I had an unscheduled day in the gym instead. Yeah, the gym I usually go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday. It's just Saturday I go, but I don't really have anything planned. It's just whatever I feel like doing. Today, it was 35 degrees in here this morning when I got up. By the time I had my coffee and I was ready to get to work, it was almost freezing in here. So I decided to go to the gym, go hit anything that wasn't sore. It worked out. Had a good time. I always have a good time. It's like my second favorite place to be. Besides being right here at the bench, I'll spend my time in the gym. It's my two favorite spots. I need to. There we go. That's better. All right. You can go. So still 105. All right. Nothing fancy today. Yeah, we'll leave that there because all the shading from this leaf comes through there. Here. That'll just be the edge of this backbone. One of those little details nobody will ever see but me. But if I didn't leave it there, I'd wish I had. So we'll leave that little sliver there. So to continue from yesterday, the process for melting glass into an engraving is called enameling. Unfortunately, enameling isn't really useful on a firearm because you have to get it up to, I think, 1600 degrees to get the glass to melt. So if you wanted to use something similar, it would have to be cold enameling, which is really nothing more than an epoxy resin. And I don't know how well that'd go over. I bet it'd hold up, but using a plastic to add color to an engraving, yeah, I don't know. Probably get laughed out of the engraving circles for, even mentioning it. But certainly something I would try someday. Maybe not on a on a $6,000-7,000 gun, but I'd certainly try it on something else. And then if it appears to be what I'm looking for, then propose it to a customer. Or this 1911 of my own that I plan on doing. Maybe I'll incorporate a little bit of color into it. Oh, I don't like using the 96 to weed out background. Just, it feels wrong. Yeah. I got squirrels running around on the roof right above my head. About a dozen of them that live in the big oak tree out front. And they're pretty quiet when it gets cold, but as soon as the sun gets everything warmed up, they're out running around yelling at me. I'll come back with the 105 and clean that up a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty flat. Yep, that'll do. So I think my scope got bumped again. Look center. There we go. Yep, not too bad. Okay. Let's continue weeding out some background for a while. Sorry, the cold weather down here right now is messing with my nose. All right. Quit complaining about my nose. Let's just get this whole line in one shot. Oh, I got a piece of steel in my finger. Yeah, feel it in my left hand. There it is. Wise engraver keeps a pair of tweezers on his bench all the time. Because those little pieces are everywhere. Alright, back to work. Ain't nothing like a little bit of microsurgery. And that was all because I rest the side of my hand on my turntable when I'm cutting. And then I turn my turntable just by moving my whole hand. I never actually, very rarely ever actually have a hold of my vise. It may look like it in the camera, but my fingers move my vise around, and then it's just the back of my hand, or the side of my hand, moving the turntable around. And then I know that nobody, you can't see it in the camera, but there's a microfiber tied around the base of the turntable to give it some tension so that I can't spin it and it'll just keep spinning forever. The microfiber lets me go at a good hard spin, and it'll only go, about 360 degrees, maybe a little bit more, but I don't have to be gentle with it. I don't have to worry about giving it a push and take off and spin all afternoon. I think it's great that Shimpo built it with such a robust bearing, you know. So without that microfiber on there, I can spin it, and it'll spin for, a good 10 minutes before it stops. If my cuts look a little bit ragged today, because I have a pretty healthy bulldozer, some pretty healthy flat spots cut on my 105 this morning. I don't know if you can, how well you'll be able to see them in the camera, but oh, yeah. There's a little flat right on the tip of it that it'll let me get through this background pretty quick without breaking my graver. But it also means that if you look really close at my cuts, you can see the striations in the cut itself. Where today we've got striations in the cut, and yesterday it was pretty smooth. It just makes a stronger graver, that's all. one more and then the little guys. There we go. Time consuming. But overall, worth it. So let's just take you right to there. So leave you. You going to go. Yep, there we go. Don't touch that. So I just saw this morning that Sam Cherry is our new Engravers Guild president. Congratulations, Sam. It's also our first female guild president, which is kind of cool. The Engravers Guild also has a new instruction manual out for engravers. It should be up on the website, hopefully within a week or so. Definitely looking forward to that. And the book alone, I think Brian Powley said it was like $150 or something like that. So I'm gonna have to make a little bit of extra money and get that book. Why am I going at this with flat? Just gonna make a mess. Oh, it's because I'm trying to talk and work at the same time. Huh. Yeah. It's like trying to chew gum and walk. Something I'm working on. Not the chewing and gum and walking thing, but the working and talking at the same time. But yeah, Brian said that the new instruction manual should be about 100 and quarter, 150. I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna have to hurry up and make a few extra dollars. Definitely something I need to have in the library. Even though right now I'm not a member of the guild. It's one of those things I had to let lapse in order to move down here. Just, it just happened to be that the guild dues came up at about the same time that I was trying to finance the move. So a decision had to be made. You know, do I pay my dues, or do I put that $100 or so towards getting moved? And I know $100 doesn't sound like much, but it definitely helps. So, a little luck, get my dues caught back up, and you know, get in good standing with the guild again. All right, let's touch up anything on those brights that need to be touched up. So I also saw that a couple more members got, master engraver status. Yeah, the master engraver, there's specific criteria that you have to meet, and then current masters get to judge your work based on those criteria. And a couple people that I know of, at least one, but I didn't see any names in the post this morning. But I was just skimming Facebook really quick and didn't really stop and pay attention to much. It's all rage bait right now anyway, so I try to avoid social media. It's just there are a few people that I want to talk to when I'm on there, but for the most part, it's just engagement farming. Make the right people mad, and they'll comment on your posts, and then your posts get noticed, and moves people to your Facebook Reels or your Instagram posts, or your TikTok, and then you start making money on all the comments. And yeah, It's just a big game. Half of what we see on social media is, AI bullshit now anyway. So then whenever something comes up like who the new master engravers are for the guild, you just kind of gloss over it. Oh, drink a coffee. So I'm sure everybody's that's paying attention. You can see the slip that I had. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not perfect. Even I make microscopic mistakes. But the good thing is because everything here is so small, it'll blend in nicely. And unless you're watching this video, you won't even know it's there. And it's kind of disappointing that it happened because I never slip. But I remember the moment that happened. I was cutting through here, and right here, I broke the tip of the graver and just kind of. I'll straighten it out as best as I can. So yeah, if anybody tells you that they don't slip, they don't make mistakes, that everything always comes out perfect, they're lying. It does happen. But because we work on such a microscopic scale, we have a good chance of keeping any mistakes like that, microscopic. And if I really thought that it needed to be fixed, and I needed to spend some serious time on it, I guess I could come in with a burnisher and burnish that section. But I think that would just make it more obvious because the finish of the stainless wouldn't be the same. I found in the case of small slips and mistakes like that, it's better off if you just live with it and don't let it happen again than trying to resurface the whole side of the gun. I do like how all of this overlaps. I think that worked out really well. That makes me happy. Whew. Turn that heat down a little bit. Alright, drink coffee. Can't believe I'm in the final stretch of getting the background done on the slide. Now the frame won't take anywhere near as long because it doesn't have as much work as the slide does. And it doesn't even really have as much work on it as I normally put into a frame. Yeah, we had a slightly smaller budget on this project than normal, so kind of be reasonable and figure out where I could scale back the artwork and still get him what he wants. I was able to scale it back without removing detail or changing the background work. Scaled it back just by limiting the amount of coverage. But I think overall I found a good balance. Yeah, there's found a pretty good balance between the amount of coverage and getting the idea across. It'll be even better if I get to the thumb safeties, and it turns out that they're not so hard that I can't engrave them. I'll be really happy if I get to those and they're engravable. I found that a lot of modern 1911s use uh, powdered metal to do their small parts, to do all their controls, and there's just something about the way that they forge the thumb safety that makes them just stupid hard. And even on the older Colts, the older 1911s, you know, the hardest part of the whole gun is still the thumb safety. Should be the barrel bushing, but I would really expect the barrel bushing to be harder than it is. But don't get me wrong, it's still a pretty hard steel, but the barrel bushing is nothing compared to the thumb safeties. Hardest part with the barrel bushing is holding it. And I solved that with a ring holder from GRS. The GRS's ring holder holds the ring from the inside and gives support 360 degrees. And that's exactly what you need to be able to hold a barrel bushing. Those squirrels above my head again. They're running back and forth across my roof. Alright, let's stipple this. How's that tip look? Yeah, it's a little flat. I'll use it as is. I think they'll be fine. Alright. So we're going to start at this end. Work our way back. That's not hitting anywhere near hard enough. moving on. I'm not super happy with that texture right now. Oh, I still got lines in this one. That's better. know it's a little quiet today. Oh, I don't like how that is. That's better. This cord. There we go. Yeah, today's just one of those days where I'm thinking a lot about the past. The thing that bothers me the most is I live in paradise. I hate to say it, but I wish my wife were here with me. Finish taking all that down. Just one of those days. Some days are harder than others. I keep telling myself, if I known the things then that I know now, things might have ended up differently. We weren't the same people back then. I certainly wasn't the same person I am now. Not anywhere close. I like to think that the experience with her is one of the things that made me who I am today. It's part of the reason I am who I am. Doesn't change the fact. You wish things would have come out different. Love to have her here with me. Anyway, just keep plugging along. Okay, so it looks like I only lost about 2 minutes worth of audio, so sorry about that. My microphones don't have a any kind of battery display, so I have no way of telling when they're getting ready to die. Oh, which reminds me, I ought to put the other one on the charger. Do. Sometimes I wonder how I manage to do the work that I do with the hands that I have. Anyway, we didn't lose a whole lot of audio. So where am I at? Okay, I'm getting ready to stipple these last three. All right. There we go. We must have hit the switch and shut off the idle completely. All right. I don't even remember what I was talking about before my mic died. Okay, well, here's something that people may find interesting. A book that I just started reading is oh geez, Portal: Human Prompting by Emma Saravia. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't see my monitor from over here without my glasses. But anyway, the premise of the book is that we are spiritual beings, and our human bodies are nothing more than, well, not nothing more, but they're essentially vehicles that we travel in while we're here on Earth. And the whole book is about the interactions between you, the being that's driving the vehicle, the body, which is the vehicle itself, and the brain, which is your interface between, you, the driver, and your body. So it's kind of like if you look at the whole thing like a computer, like your home PC. Um, you are the person sitting at the desk. You're the person holding the mouse. You're the person pushing the buttons on the keyboard. Your body is whatever you're trying to accomplish. So your body would be, say, Microsoft Word. Your brain would be the interface between you and Microsoft Word. The brain would be, you know, the RAM in the computer. Uh, it'd be the processor. It is what translates the inputs that you, the driver, put into it. It's a totally different take on being human. And to me, it totally makes sense because I've never really felt comfortable being human. And it's just, and I've tried explaining it to people before, and they're like, "Well, what do you mean? It's weird being human." I'm like, it's weird being human, you know. If you've ever played a first-person video game where you're looking through the eyes of the character in the video game, and you know that it's not real, but at the same time, it kind of has this real feeling. It's exactly how I feel. The disconnection with reality. I uh, I need to go through and touch up that whole edge. And I used to see a therapist about it, because apparently thinking that you're literally driving a human meat vehicle is not normal, I guess. Even though I think it should be. I think we all should understand that the bodies that we're driving are temporary, but the rest of us is eternal. It's going to go on forever. Yeah. In whatever form or religion you happen to believe in, whatever you believe in for the afterlife, that's up to you. But it doesn't change the fact that we're driving meat vehicles. And while we're here, we need to learn how to properly communicate with our bodies and learn how to decipher some of the messages that we get from our interface or the brain. Pretty. I don't know. For some reason, people aren't comfortable talking about stuff like that. But I think about it all the time. Yeah. What you got left here? Because if you really think about it, when you tell the brain that you want to do something, let's say that you want to pick something up, you can you can communicate to the brain that you want to pick something up, and then the brain has to communicate with the body. And the brain can only communicate with the body in one way, and that is sending a single or a series of electrical impulses through the nervous system to the muscle, to get to create a movement. So how does the brain know what path to send that electrical signal? How does the brain know to even create that electrical signal? Well, it just does, and it's not anything that you can control. You can't control the flow of sodium and potassium in and out of the brain cells to vary the strength or the wavelength of that electrical signal. The only control you have, you as the driver, is, hey, I want to raise my arm 3 inches. So you have to communicate with the brain, saying, hey, I want to raise my arm 3 inches, and then the brain has to know what signal to create, where to send that signal, how to vary the signal. And it's like that with every function that the body has to perform, you know. But the whole book is about ways to get the brain to communicate more effectively with the body to get the outcome that you want. The downside is that it takes like a whole quarter of the book, just to build the basic idea as to how everything functions. Well, that is spotty. I think it's a fascinating theory, and to me it totally makes sense. Dissociative disorder. That's what my therapist called it. That according to modern science, you are supposed to believe that you are your brain, and that you are encompassed in your brain, and that is it. You are nowhere else. This voice that you use to talk to yourself all day long it's all happening in your head. It's all because of the synapses firing. And to me, that just doesn't make sense. That's the tail wagging the dog. There's a little ridge right there I need to get rid of. So yeah, she does a much better job of explaining the whole theory than I do. Yeah. But if you're at all interested in computer programming and um, how if you're interested in computer programming and in philosophy and how that works in conjunction with the physiology of the human body and the human body brain soul connection, it's definitely worth picking up. And it's Portal, an introduction to human prompting. Human prompting is, it's translating, you know, interpreting what the brain has to say so you can get the body to do what you want it to do. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's on Amazon. She's definitely way smarter than I am, or at least has a better grasp of, the body, brain, soul theory than I do. And she's on most of the social medias. She's pretty easy to look at. That kind of helps, I guess. I mean, at least for me. I mean, I'm still human, by the way. All right. So brush all that off. Now let's double check our work. Double check your work every step of the way. I go through a lot of sharpening markers, by the way. Last thing you want to do is, get several steps up and then, oh, I gotta backtrack and go back and redo a whole bunch of this background because the ink doesn't fill it, or I pull all the ink out if I just lightly touch it. So this kind of eliminates that. It's that right there. right there. I know I can't be the only one that sees that. There's a ridge right there between the background and the primary cut. So one of the things I look for when I'm doing my ink is looking for ridges like this. Might have been a little aggressive there. Come on, Idle. That's a little better. Okay. Okay. I'll re-ink those couple spots. I'll wipe it all off. Then we'll judge it. Huh. Sounds like my neighbors play music. So by the way, my air hose is hooked up to another pedal next to my handpiece pedal. So all I have to do is move my foot over a little bit, step on the air pedal, and that gives me some air to work with. And then when I want to use my rotary, just quickly switch out the hose, and it rolls right into my rotary, which doesn't get used much anymore, but found that for the last 5 years, you know, once I started using this process for doing my backgrounds, the majority of rotary use was for uh, cutting slots and stripped out screws, especially for handgun optics. That'll do, donkey. Yeah, I saw that. Fell on the floor. That looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, that looks fine. It'll be a good match for all that. But I knew it would be. Oh, this is spot. Need that right there. That right there. Yeah, I looked at that a couple times too. I can't believe I didn't remove it. Kept thinking, no, I'll get this other spot first, and then I'll come back and I'll get that. It's wonky now. All right, stipple that. Yeah, much better. Always scrub with the direction of the grain. Especially after you've been doing background work. Because if you pick up a little bit of that stainless dust and go running this way, you'll leave scratches across the grain. Leaving scratches with the grain isn't really that bad. I mean, you'll never see those. But if you go across the grain, even just lightly, that'll be pretty obvious. Okay. I think that means it's time for a break. I'm going to eat lunch and get my 105 sharpened up. Then we'll come back and start doing the leaf separations and foldovers. Get everything ready for final shading tomorrow. I'm almost where I want to be today. I'm pretty happy. And tomorrow, I get to just start shading. Then Saturday, do everything here start to finish. Kind of excited. All right, break time. All right, let's get back to work. Let's pull the ink out of here. So one of the things I love about being here, if you're having a bad day, thinking about somebody that you used to know, and how things could have been different had you known the things that you know now. And then you step outside on the 28th of January and the sun's shining and it's 70 degrees outside. And just feel better about it, I guess. I still wish things were different. At least the sun's out. And the temperature's back up. Now we'll be back down in the 40s tonight. But right now, it's 70 degrees. I've got the shop door open. Heater's turned off. All the windows in the house are open. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's go you. Need to relax. I got a death grip on this graver right now. It's one of those things I almost constantly have to tell myself to relax. Oh, we're not going to start doing that. No, we're not going to start fighting with the idol. Oh, chair's trying to run away from me. Let's continue this around. Do the same thing over here. So that way when we shade, fall underneath this. Oh, great. That tight little cut's the most dangerous one for gravers. You break the tip off the graver about 50% of the time. Come on, my tool. I don't need to be fighting with my tools today. Get up there. You get down. Looks like this side may be just a little longer than the other. Straighten it out. Okay. Pedals moved. What the hell happened in here? What the? What the hell happened? Like an idle shut off? Air was shut off to the handpiece? Damn. It's almost like somebody came in here and flipped all my switches off while I was over sharpening. Just weird stuff. Hey, I need to touch that up. Okay, you're gonna piss me off. I'm not fighting with idle today. Won't do it. Even my foot just feels wrong. Ah. Oh, my pedal is totally in the wrong place. Like everything is moved. What the hell happened? Come on. I told you, some days I'm uncomfortable being human. Jeez, I can't get comfortable under the scope now. What the hell happened? Damn. Not having a good time right now. I don't know why. What the? You feel like you fell into an alternate timeline and everything has changed just a little bit? Not enough to be perceptible to anybody except you? Let's get you, run around, let's get you. And you over here. You have to bear with me for a second. I'll try to make sense of my logic. Okay, let's take care. Let's do you first. The whole foot just feels wrong. Can't explain it. Most people wouldn't understand anyway. God, I hate being human sometimes. Just have some days where your body just doesn't fit. No matter what I do with my foot, it's uncomfortable. Every part of being at this bench right now just feels wrong. Okay, I'm going to take a break for a couple minutes. I'll be back. Okay, I'll get back to work. I'll try and get this to a good stopping point for the day. So that was something that doesn't happen very often at the bench. I don't usually have meltdowns when I'm working. Uh, Moments where all of a sudden nothing makes sense. When even the slightest little bit of noise is overwhelming. The smallest amount of light, it's too much. And when it does, when that happens, there is nothing in this world that makes any sense. Even the body I'm in, doesn't feel like it's mine. But when that happens, just shut everything down for a while. And even now, even still now, my right foot doesn't feel like it's mine. Everything about my right foot is just totally uncomfortable. But I'll get through it. Always do. That graver doesn't look right. Because it's not. Do, do, do. Wish I could figure out why my handpiece does that. Halfway through that cut, the amount of air that I'm getting completely changed. Yep, that'll do. Let's do this. Excuse me, gotta remember to breathe. Alright, slow down, start to dig. Okay. Cool, looks good. Tell you what, if I could get my right foot comfortable, this would go much faster. Yep, just nice quiet cutting. Trying to recover from a little meltdown and not let it get to me. It's a lot of people that would use that as a selling point for their work. But me, I'd rather let my work speak for itself. Oh, my chair quit running away from me. Get my chair to stay in place. That'd be kind of cool. Get it to stay in place so my back doesn't hurt. I do. I seriously think I need a new chair. It's gonna have you in there too. Oh, still a long way to go today, huh? This should leave just enough visible sparkle so that that makes sense. Alright, let's knock some of these chips off. So there is a superpower that most engravers have that most people wouldn't realize. And that's the ability to hold a sneeze or hold a cough until the end of your cut. Sounds stupid, but if you have to sneeze when you're under the scope, you have to learn how to hold it until you're done with the cut, and then you're allowed to sneeze. Same thing with a cough. You just kind of kind of learn how to wait. And I say most engravers, I don't know, I've never asked anybody else, but it was one of the necessary related skills that I had to learn that nobody ever said anything about. Now I just think it's something that they've all had to learn. Maybe. Otherwise, what does everybody else do when they have to sneeze? Don't just stop in the middle of a cut. Oh, yeah, this turned out good. Start on this one. No, I didn't leave a whole lot of room for shading in there, did I? Sometimes the graver lasts so long you start to wonder about it. Start to worry. do, 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 do. If you listen close, you can hear the ice cream man. I think my graver's dull now. Oh, yeah. No, it's still got a point on it, too. This is dull. All right. Let's see what we got. Yeah, just a little more on this side. And then shorten up those heels a little bit. Yeah, see, my block isn't perfect parallel with the table. It's almost. Stab myself. Yeah, hopefully that heel's not too long. It's right on the edge. Man, it's gorgeous right now. It's like 72 degrees and sunny. Moved all my baby plants outside so they get some fresh air. I'm going to straighten this up a little bit. Yep, that's better. Damn. Now, I need to be able to see that side. Getting ahead of myself is what I'm doing. Not supposed to be doing shading until tomorrow. Can't help it. Alright, back on task. Come on. And get you. Oh, did you hear that? Hear that slow down in the air? I think the compressor I just got needs to be dual tank instead of single. Because when it gets to when it gets to the point where it needs to kick the motor on, you can feel it in the handpiece. You just run out of air. So I think it need to have dual tanks instead of just one. Don't necessarily need more CFM. Uh-oh, somebody pissed off the popo. Okay, you feel off. Just the tiniest little chip right at the end. Just enough to cause problems. Alright. Do. Alright. Nice. I amaze myself sometimes. Shouldn't be doing that till tomorrow. Instead of trying to do all of one process the same day, have little variations in technique don't cause big problems. Oh. Alright, let's get finished up. Let's get you over here. Come on, get out there. Squirrel. Oh, so pretty. Oh, I gotta remember to blank. I don't think I blinked for like 5 minutes. Okay. That's that's a good solid day's work. Look at Tell me that's not gorgeous. Come on, arrows. Let's clean off my leather really quick. A little bit of acetone. Oh, that's gonna be so nice. Oh, clean microfiber. Um, there it is. One of the worst parts about having glasses is when you're at the bench, you work most of the day with your glasses off, so everything has to be in a place where you can find it without being able to see. By the way, that was just a little bit of semi-chrome. Really, as little as I'm using, it's just a cleaner, and all it's doing is on the edge of some of the cuts, like oh, on the edge of some of the cuts, like the top edge right here. If there's a tiny little burr on there, it'll take it off. For the most part, I don't leave any burrs anywhere. If I happen to, a little bit of semi-chrome will take care of it. See, like you can see a little touch of raggedness right here. It'll take out most of that. And a little bit of raggedness right there. Of course, nobody's ever going to critique this as close as I am right now. This is probably the closest anybody will ever get to it. That this is where my graver broke. You catch just a little bit on this edge. A little bit right there. I'll get that tomorrow when I'm shading. You'll see that and touch it up. Overall, I think I'd give it an A. Can't give it an A plus. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I'll give it an A. Good job, me. Okay, well, looks like we're doing final shading tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be fun. All right, go.